Forest fires. The big, burning flames reaching 100 feet into the sky, wrecking thousands of acres of land.
Destroying any man, object, or creature in its path. Everyone knows the picture.
In the past 100 years, we've seen an increase in the expanse of fires. Large fires are becoming more common, and they're burning more and more land each year, averaging upwards of 8 million acres burned each year in 2018.
That's just over the size of the state of Maryland. And it's costing the U.S. upwards of $3 billion to fight them. There's always been fire. However, there used to be a large amount of very small or inconsequential fires versus the big burns we see today.
So, what caused the shift?
And what do we do to stop it?
First, let's discuss how forest fires happen, and what is causing them to be so big.
Of these two pictures of the same forest, which would you say is healthier? The one that is denser, or the one that's not as dense? In fact, the one on the right side is a healthier forest.
This is because it is less prone to extreme damage due to fire, as described in this pictograph. Generally, we see a healthy forest as one that is resilient to fire and other natural disasters. Key word being resilient.
Fire is a constant. It will always occur in our lives. Luckily, small and contained fires will not kill a large tree, only the small trees and general underbrush present in the forest.
Here, we can see a tree that has suffered through at least 3 fires, found by using tree ring research. Even after being through 3 low-level ground fires, it only sustained fire scars, and this tree was still able to move on and grow. However, when a fire moves into the topmost layer of the forest, formerly known as the crown of the forest, it will kill the tree, and thus we are left with the familiar image of a graveyard of dead trees.
In the turn of the 20th century, the Forest Service was founded in 1905. This young, new agency was created to assess the quality and conditions of forests in the United States, and was led by Gifford Pinchot.
Pinchot is best known for his help in creating Teddy Roosevelt's Midnight Forest, where 16 million acres of national forests were created minutes before they lost the power to do so.
Pinchot used a wise youth's approach to public land, believing that we should use the land sustainably to preserve it for the future generations, directly reflecting the conservation ideology of current President Theodore Roosevelt.
Another big name in early forestry is Aldo Leopold. Leopold was another supporter of conservation ethics, similar to Pinchot and President Roosevelt, and believed that for conservation to truly occur, we need to shift our view from using the land dry for our own economic benefit, a sentiment that runs true today. During this time is when we see a significant shift in how we view fire.
Previously, there had been little need for fire suppression because of the significant amount of rainfall settlers experienced in the eastern United States. However, as settlers moved west and encountered drier lands and forests, there was more fire and more opposition to fire. Emily Heyerdahl, a research forester with a specialization in fire ecology, explains this shift.
The big change came not from the Forest Service. There wasn't a Forest Service in the late 1800s. It wasn't from fire suppression. It was from a change in the way that we used the landscape. And they just had to interrupt the fuel continuity because these fires were often really large, low severity, spreading fires that spread over long areas. So
this, coupled with drier lands and more suppression due to the economic fear of losing hard-earned property, all have contributed to bigger and more widespread fires.
But where do we stand now? Can we even try to stop fire?
The short answer is no, because fire has and always will be present in our lives. But we can work to slow it down and make fires smaller and more contained, like they were before. 2 of the methods used to prevent large forest fires are prescribed burns and mechanical thinning.
Mechanical thinning is where Forest Service employees or volunteers remove trees manually in rows or strips at fixed spacing to reduce the fuel load and make a healthier forest.
Thinking back to the healthy forest ideology, reducing the amount of trees per acre will make a forest more resistant to fire and can give more room to make larger and healthier trees.
However, mechanical thinning does take a lot of time and effort, and it is incredibly expensive to perform.
But it is one of the most effective ways to offload the fuel intake of potential fires and can lead to a lot of manual labor forestry jobs.
Another method is prescribed burning, which is the intentional, controlled application of fire to a forest for the purpose of understory management.
This means that it is used to control the amount of small plants and trees that are on the forest floor, creating less likelihood that a wildfire could spread to the crown of the taller trees. Prescribed burns can also be used to minimize the spread of pests and disease and recycle nutrients back into the soil.
There are some downsides, like the smoke put out into the air and the chance that the fire may escape out of the boundary lines, but overall, the large benefits of preventing fire outweigh the small inconvenience of smoke for a few days.
While these methods are happening around the United States, it is not occurring nearly enough. Both methods require a lot of manpower, effort, and preparation.
And usually we are more concerned with stopping the already burning fires than to think of preventing them. This graph shows that in 2018, the federal government spent over $3.5 billion on fire suppression, and only $500 million on prevention.
What could happen if we spent that same amount on prevention? Could we speculate that the scale and spread of wildfires would decrease? For now, we can only think, learn, and grow.
The more people that know and care about wildfire expansion, the more we can try to push to spend more and do more to prevent these big burns, which, in the long run, helps all of us.
And helps our planet.
Thank you.